So I would say that if you have already like prepared for CAT, you can think that there is like a 70% overlap between CAT and XAT. So just focus on the things that are extra in XAT, which are different in XAT. So think of it that, okay, the overlap is like you are done a graduation degree and now you're kind of doing like a super specialization in specific areas in that. So what I always say is that if you already have prepared for CAT, just look at the areas which are additional to XAT. So for example, in QADI, you have remainder theorems, which is extra. You have trigonometry, which is extra. Heights and distances, which is extra. DM section is entirely different, and DM takes a lot of kind of reorientation to actually think of how to solve these questions. So DM section is basically what you should focus a lot of effort on, because it just takes a mindset change in a way that how do you answer something where it is like slightly speculative in nature. So that takes a lot of time. In that 1 month, you should spend a lot of time on the extra part, particularly DM. And in verbal, you have grammar, which is extra. You have like poem RCs, which are extra. See, basically, I would say that we have a very good course for that. I would always recommend my course because I would say that we have just focused on the 1 month that you have. How do you make the best use of that month? Because it's a limited time, quite a few range of things to study. Basically, that cover the concepts. That is the first thing. That whatever is the incremental thing, that you know what the question is. How do you approach the question? What is the right method to solve a thing, that you should basically be very clear with. Second thing is solve a lot of questions. A lot of people don't have a lot of experience solving questions because you don't have a lot of time. Practice takes time and you have only 1 month. So a lot of people end up going to like the XAT paper without having solved even like 50 questions of DM. So that essentially that inexperience shows in the exam. So first thing is that cover all the concepts and then solve a lot of questions. One part of solving a lot of questions is solving the previous year's paper. That should be always a starting point as well as towards the ending point as such. So
How many years?
I would say take 3 years at the very least. There are certain years you should skip where it was slightly arbitrary, but at the very least you should do 3 years. Okay, I would say that at the very start of your preparation, give a zero prep mock of like the XAT paper. Okay, last year's XAT 2025, give it without any preparation. And based on that, you can then say that, okay, this is what the exam is, this is what is tested, this is what I would have done without any preparation. Then take XAT 2024, 2023 at the near the end of the preparation. Between that, I would say that you should essentially focus on, as I said, the incremental things that you have to do. So you should focus on decision making. There are like hundreds of decision making sets on Cracku. I think many of them are like, I think at least 100 questions are free also. Like we have a decent number of free sets also. But make sure that you solve at least a decent number of like 50, 60 sets of decision making before you go into the exam. Because if without that experience, it is you will be kind of caught in the headlights, because it is super different from CAT in many ways. And if you are not familiar with the question type, it will be very difficult for you to learn and solve it right there at the spot. So practice is super important, especially in decision making and like the incremental parts that are there. Practice is what you need. And revise the CAT syllabus, which is important for that. So arithmetic, algebra, revise all of that. So I would say that divide it into like 3 parts. 1/3 part is like dedicated for DM. 1/3 part is for the incremental things, and 1/3 part is for revision.